Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And if you haven't heard, my state, New York, has gone completely freaking insane with this new bail reform law. Now, in the beginning, when I was pointing out how some of these rulings were already absolutely crazy, like the bank robbery in Colony, where the person who came in and robbed the bank and the driver were both let go on their own recognizance, that, oh, well, Jason, it wasn't a violent crime and this is a good thing and we want real reform in the justice system. And I would contend not only is this insanity and inviting people who would potentially commit felonies elsewhere to come here, have a go, and if they happen to get caught, we'll just jump bail because they didn't pay anything in the first place. But you're letting go people in this state that are already vile human beings and accused of unbelievably horrific crimes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over some of the new ones, and then I want to hearken back to one of the cases that I still feel very strongly about because it's less than a mile away. Okay? I mean, this is affecting everywhere in New York, and I know there's a global sense that New York State is like New York City. It is not. New York City and Long Island under it, that's not even, remotely the same kind of thing. It's like this big in a state like this big. Okay? There's farms up here. There's country living. There's mountainsides. It's much more like, rural America than most people realize. We have our quote-unquote city spots like Albany, urban areas, sure. But for the most part, we ain't New York City. And this wouldn't be acceptable there either. So let's start with this one, which is just completely insane. All right. This is from, 6 days ago, less than a week ago. Man released under new bail law burglarizes Carl Place store hours later. Hours later. A 22-year-old man accused in a string of burglaries in Westbury was released under the new state law and just hours later burglarized a bagel boss in Carl Place, police say. All right? And this is Nassau County. This is down in Long Island. So literally a guy who had been accused of a string of burglaries gets released, and guess what? Oh, how about that? How about that? I mean, he goes and robs another place. Wait, that's not enough for you? By the way, thumbs this up, sub, and share. We do a plethora of information here. Absolutely ridiculous. Suspect released by judge after attacking, spitting in Port Authority officer's mouth. Let's just play some of this clip here, okay?
Hello, I'm Maurice Dubois, and here's your CBS 2 update. Fotis Dulos, the estranged husband of the missing Connecticut mother Jennifer Dulos, was arraigned on Wednesday for her murder. His former girlfriend, Michelle Troconis, and his friend
this is the wrong
and former
video.
attorney, Kent Mawhinney, were also arraigned on charges of conspiracy to commit murder.
Oh, it must be right here.
Just left the Houston Street subway
that's
in
not
the
it
West
either.
Village.
Yeah, whatever. It is absolutely ridiculous that somebody can literally attack, spit in a Port Authority officer's mouth, and then get released. Nobody else has a problem with that. I'm not trying to be, pro or anti-cop, but I would think that I don't want that person out. Next story. Syracuse man accused of shooting and killing his girlfriend, released under bail reform law. Now, this guy, again, allegedly, who may have shot and killed his girlfriend. In April, they reduced his bail. Still couldn't get out. This is a murder suspect. Oh, yeah, let's let this guy out. You know who else we should let out? How about violent sex offenders? Not, suspected violent sex offenders, but people that are actually registered. For instance, this guy, and this is Cortland County. You guys know, some of you anyway, that I ran the Red Jug Pub for some time here in Oneonta. Well, it originated in Cortland. That's where it's out of. I used to go there all the time. Again, another upstate New York area. And this guy with a 10-year criminal history, who, by the way, was being held on a $250 bail. So the fact that no one cared to give him $250 to get out in the first place should be an alarm bell. But how about the fact that the guy attempted to rape a 14-year-old girl when he was 20? Seriously, what is going on? And now to get back to my Lettuce Highway thing. And, I don't know quite the circumstances of this case. I know that the guy that did this was not drunk or high or anything like that. But he didn't have a license. And he had a bunch of priors. And he ran down a woman, it's a short highway, guys, in the street. She's still in critical condition. And, they're talking about how well lit it is because they don't know what else to do. The woman is immediately put in intensive care. My God. My God. And these are just some of the horror stories. Just some. We got a super chat from Flick Off. I really appreciate those. Hey, Jason, you mentioned in your earlier video the crappy show Ricky Gervais mentioned is getting a second season. That's his show, LOL. Again, I don't... listen, spoiler alert, guys. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't follow Ricky Gervais's career. That's why when I even commented on him saying those things about Epstein, I gave you spoiler alert. I'm not endorsing anything he's ever said or done. I haven't even seen really the Office, which is the UK version, which is what launched the version here. I saw like pieces of that Muppet movie he was recently in with the kids. That's how I'm doing. It's Uncle Burma style over here. So guys, once again, look at this guy behind me. I'm not saying he's a murderer, but he's accused of being one. And I'm not saying, the person who's on video is a bank robber. No, I am saying that person's a bank robber. I'm saying he's on video robbing a bank and we let him go in Colony. Okay? And I know that's blowing some people's minds, but we're talking about sex offenders. We're talking about people who are violent. And, Lord knows where this is going to go. We have another one that I covered earlier on where the man is accused of stabbing a woman to death. They may have charged him with murder, but instead, I think it was aggravated manslaughter, and they released him as well. Where is it going to end? Does this not look like they're trying to destabilize not only my state, but the country? I mean, the bail reform law is 100% ridiculous. You're starting to see protests and people coming out in droves saying it needs to be repealed immediately. In fact, my own police chief, Douglas Brenner, we had a very short conversation about it, but I got to tell you, he didn't look pleased. Doug, you didn't look pleased. And I can't blame you. So, guys, please thumbs this video up, subscribe and share if you are new to the channel. We're going to have a big Epstein update coming up later today. That's definitely on the agenda. Already done a couple videos with Scott Ledger of Dangerous Conversation off of Florida Man Radio. I'm also a documentary filmmaker. Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture, all available free right here. Not asking you to buy a DVD, not asking you to buy a stream. It's all free. I want you to check out the information. If you don't know what was really going on 9/11 beforehand and the aftermath, you need to watch Fabled Enemies. Go watch it right now. It is a must to understand this slither circle, this network, this deep state that still exists today. And by the way, later on today, if you'd like to give this thread right here, which we're going to put in the live comment section, a retweet, we're trying to stop the Conor McGregor fight. Why? Because there's a plethora of evidence that he's a violent rapist that beat a woman, so she was bloodied, so she had choke marks in front of people, while raping her so violently that allegedly she had to have a tampon surgically removed from her cervix. So if you're okay with that, and you want to promote that kind of thing, don't check out this very elaborate thread. And don't check out the fact that I'm going to now be doing a Reddit AMA on this matter. Once I know when, I will obviously be giving links to everybody so they can put them out there and we can continue to get this information out, because I think it's absolutely absurd that they would allow this fight to happen and that they're going to cover this up. A big fuck you to Disney, ESPN, the UFC, WME Entertainment, and anyone who would facilitate this kind of thing, okay? And then if you want to financially support me, be that first donor of the day today for Burmese Brigade Media, $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. It's not about left or right. It's about right and wrong. We need to talk to our neighbors, okay? We need to talk to our enemies, people we don't agree with, okay? That's a big deal. Lately I've been getting flack because I interview this person or I interview that person. I'll interview anybody. and I will take them to task when I disagree. Isn't that how we have open dialogue, and then we can present information and you can decide based on the information presented, and maybe some you find yourself, what you believe based on discernment? Pretty novel idea, guys. Pretty novel idea. I want to thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you on the flip side.